Okay, you guys, here we are. It's the start of day number 2. So the last time when I left you, our superheroes had, here's a transmission down on the lift, got the wood underneath it here, holding it up, blah, blah, blah. So everything is pretty much straightforward that you'd seen in the first part. Here's all the plugs, get everything all disconnected. Probably don't even have to do that after hindsight, but I'll tell you what, this, let me get up here, it's kind of a blind shot. There is this tab right there where that bridle cable right there, that little, let me see if I can twist it. That thing was like next to impossible. Right up there, you see that was next to impossible to get to. So the way we did it is like my helper Joe was up on top of the real long screwdriver, and he just kind of opened it up, and then I reached my arm up, and I had to take and push that that wire loom up to get it off, because when we were trying to let the transmission down, it did not want to come all the way down. I'm looking up, and I'm like, oh crap. So watch out for that. You got to make sure you cannot reach it from the top. It's unless you got super long arms. It's just a lot harder for us because the truck is up on the ramps, and it's a big truck anyway. So anyways, I'm gonna try to do a better job of focusing in on this one here. So everything looks pretty good in here. So now it's gonna be a matter of taking these bolts and get the flex plate off, and whatever else. You can actually take and look right up through here. See that little tan thing right there? That's the old seal. That's the part that we're going for. So we got to get all this stuff out of the way. And I don't know. I project in while we got it out too. I'm going to show you something, but probably about an hour or so, we get all this stuff done, get that old seal out, get the new one in, and then we'll be able to take and switch all the ratchets back to tightening instead of loosening. This seal right here, if you remember in the very beginning, there's a little tiny drip coming out of here, and because it is a sealed transmission, I think it's very important that we have absolutely zero leaks. So we're going to take and replace this seal right here as well, and before we take and stick it back up to where it's got to go. And then that was another thing that we do, because I'm working with a young guy and want to try to set a decent example. Like when we're working, I take and I put all the bolts and stuff back as much as possible. This is like for the transmission mount. I try to take and put as many of the bolts back into place where they go, so you're not going to have any confusion as to what's what. Here's another one that I put back. It just makes life easier, especially for a young guy. I think it's a good habit to get into, and that's where we are. See these ones? I put these ones back. You saw those were those 12s that held the shift linkage bracket. So yeah, now we're going to go and get up in here, take the flex plate off, and do the seal. I brought my tripod today, so hopefully I'll be able to set the tripod up on the transmission there, and you can actually watch me take the seal out. So if the phone doesn't overheat, you'll be able to see that here in a little bit. Okay, so here we are, guys. Got the flex plate out, and look right up in here. I'm gonna try to get up real close and then focus that. That's where that seal is leaking, right down from underneath of there. It wasn't very much. The part that you're looking at right here above that, there's some kind of a tone ring, which is this right here, that goes in front of, I'm sure it's probably like a speed indicator for the tranny, but it sets right, and I'll put this back on here so you can see. It's like there's a little sensor right there, and you can see like I've got all these little red marks, so I know exactly where when I took it off. You see like the red marks, so it's going to go back in at exactly the same position that I took it off. There's the flex plate down there and everything. So now next up is going to be, I think I said this before in another video, if you're trying to take this thing out, do not attempt to take the seal out from the bottom, because if you're going to use the screw method or the little tool method, whatever it is, if you chinker up that base right there where the seal has to seat, you're going to cause your own leak. So if you're going to do this, you need to be up here someplace, up on the top or off to the sides, so you can still reach it. But that way, if you end up, marring it a little bit, you might have to use a little sandpaper or whatever, but it's not going to be as bad if you do it up top. So don't remove the seal from the bottom, do it from up at the top. So, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up in there, guys, for you to see this. So anyways, we're going to get this one out. All right, see you in a bit. Yeah, I don't know, I should. Anyways, hey guys, so here it is. This is from, it's Duralast, part number. Here's the seal. This is for this, what do I call it, 5.7 liter IForce Tundra. That's the part number. So before I go and I drill that other one out, this is what the new seal looks like. Obviously it's going to be the same. If you look at that little shiny thing on the inside there, that's the spring. That's what keeps the tension on it. That's what keeps it from leaking. So we're going to take and we're going to oil all of this up when we take and put this new one in. But what I wanted to show you is like, okay, so here is the outside, that's the outside edge of what it looks like right there. See that? And then this is how I'm going to do this. I have that drill bit and this fine thread screw. So at the top, like I just said, I'm going to take and I'm going to drill down in there. I'm going to start the pilot hole probably like here and like here, and then I'm going to, once I get that pilot hole in there, toy boat, then I'm going to take and put that screw in there. I'm going to clamp some vice grips right onto that screw, and I don't want to mar up what's underneath there, so I don't think I'll be able to film it. I'm going to put a socket or something there and then use a screwdriver as my leverage point. I'll use the socket as a fulcrum point, and I'll be able to take and pull a little bit from there, a little bit from there, back and forth, and just get this old seal out of there. I don't want to spend a lot of time having to sand up anything that I screw up. So yeah, there's a screw. There's the pilot. It's smaller than the screw. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, guys. So you got the drill, you got the two screws up in there, if you can see them, and then the vice grip set up. And now I took this little pry bar here, and I'm trying to increase the leverage on it. So I took a little piece of cardboard and I taped it on there. So let's see if this is gonna work. Joe's gonna hold the camera. You gotta hold it this way, bro. And I'm gonna see if we can get that started. Well, it looks like I'm not even gonna need that second one. There you go, guys. Came out pretty easy. It was pretty dry too, so. All right, let me grab the camera. So that's how I did it, you guys. You saw it. So now I'm gonna clean up this surface, and we're gonna take and install the new one. And yay, we gotta put one in the back of the transmission, but for the most part we're gonna start and turn all our ratchets back to install mode instead of takeoff mode. So yeah, pretty easy, guys. Do the drill in through there. You can see I actually went, look at this, I actually broke one drill bit off right inside of there. Like, no big deal. I just pushed it out of the way. Okay, we'll be back. Okay guys, real quick, there it is. That's the new one all put back in. Just oiled it up, stuck it in there. This little clip right here has got to be done real fast because the radio is on and it's copyrighted material. So, all right, now we're going to start the reassembly. Okay guys, so we got the torque wrench on here right now. I got Joe, the handy dandy assistant over here. He's holding the crankshaft from spinning right there. He's got that decommissioned torque wrench over there. And according to the internet, it is, you got it? You gonna hold it?
Yeah.
Push it back, right there. There's a click. So 61 pounds is what they're saying. Going in a crisscross pattern. I'm not gonna show them all, guys, just like that. And go through till you get them all tight. We'll be back. Okay guys, first chink in the armor on reassembly. Here is the old seal that I blew out of there. Okay, remember when I said on the video about when I drained the gas and everything, that the transmissions they're very particular. So I just called AutoZone again because I have, hold on, this is the seal that was provided to me by the customer, and it just drops in there. It's too small. So I just called him up and I gave him the proper transmission. It's a AB60E Echo. So I got to go down there and switch out. He's got one in there. It's going to be like $8, but it's a pain in the butt. So first chink, we go down there, get the new seal, come back, and you'll see us in a little bit. Wrong size. Okay, you guys, here we are, like 2.5 hours later, because we had to go to the dealership. So here's the F transmission. That is the rear seal part number that you need. This is what it looks like. Okay, noticeably bigger than what we got from AutoZone. $4.99, $18. That's OEM Toyota. And then in order to take and put this in, what I did was I went down and I got a piece of, well, it's like 2-inch PVC, and then I took a knife and I put the little chamfer in there. I don't know if you can see that angle. See the angle? Because the new seal will go in there just like this, and I'll be able to tap it into place. I'm not hurting the seal, and I'm going to hit it right on the hardest part. I took this in there so I can make the tool. So, all right, we're going to put this in. Like, no more dicking around. All right, here's the part number if you guys need it. It's for the F. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, guys, so now we got it all back up, and we're starting to take and put in the bolts for the bell housing. There's 2 different sizes, and according to the specs, that the 14 millimeters down here, right there, those are going to go in at how much? 29 foot-pounds. Yep. And then there's 4 the big monster 17s, which is right up there, and those are going in at 53 foot-pounds. So we're tightening all these up, then we'll move around and we'll do the flex plate. Okay, you guys, the bolts are already back up in the bell housing and stuff now. You can see those up there. And we have these bolts holes up there now for the starter. So we're putting this cross piece back in, which is going to take and support the transmission, so we'll be able to take this lift out of here. So we have a little separate right here, a little floor jack and a piece of wood. We're just going to jack this up because it's a really snug fit. Go ahead, Joe, go up. We're just going to take and push this up until the holes are lined up. Keep going, keep going. And we're going to put our bolts back up in there. So that's what we're doing. We're going to get this side squared away. We'll get this side squared away, and then we'll be back. Okay, you guys, from the last time, we had just put in the new seal up here, in the transmission. So don't forget, this is empty. We drained that from the very beginning, and we got to service this. So we're gonna have to take and put some fluid in here in a little bit. But basically what's left, the drive shaft is back in. Joe's finishing up back down there on that end. Skid plate's back on. Flex plate is all connected. That's just 6 bolts torqued to how many foot-pounds on a flex plate? 30, I think.
30, yeah.
Yeah, about 30 pounds. Anyways, we looked them all up. All the transmission lines are back up. All the O2 sensors are connected. The shifted linkage is all back together. It's done. So basically the next big deal that we gotta deal with, you guys, is this bolt right here. I believe it's a 22 or a 24. That's gonna be the filler. So what we gotta do for the transmission fluid is, because it's not an Echo 60E transmission, it's a 60F, but everybody says that the new gasket, the new pan gasket and the new filter is going to be the same. So I want to take this off. I want to check the magnets, wash it out with brake cleaner and all that fun stuff, put it back together, and then we're going to fill this thing up. Start it up. You got to wait for the transmission to get between 120 and 140. There is a gauge up on the dash. I got to figure out how to read that, and then we'll be able to release. That's the drain. We'll be able to take that plug out right there, and when it stops drizzling while it's running, I'm pretty sure that's what it says. I'll double check. When it stops drizzling out of there, then it's done. Close it up, and it's ready to go. So we're going to do a little bit more. I don't know if I should just do a separate video on that, you guys, or I don't know. It's up to you. But anyways, yeah, everything's all back together except for that. You do the dry shaft, put the starter in, and yeah, let's be done with this thing. We spent a lot of time down at the dealer tracking down the right bearing or the right seal for the transmission output shaft, but it is what it is. Sometimes when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So all right, guys, there's gonna be more. We'll be back.